Shalom, all praise, honor, and glorification is due unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors are going out to the venerable apostles of the great millstone, along with the elders who rule and teach Yasharallah well through the Spirit. Salutations, peace, and blessings be unto the Bayath Shah Dawadah, which is the house of David, the elect, beginning with his servants, the prophets, you Akim, who are out there pushing this word sincerely and truthfully throughout the four corners of the earth, standing boldly on the highways and hedges, preaching and teaching the correct doctrine, singing a new song, waking up the lost sheep of the house of Yasharallah, on down to all those among Yasharallah who hath believed our report, the men, women, and children believers. They too are going to be delivered out of this coming destruction, and that's what's coming. I'm Shamar Ahmath, here to do a quick prophecy in short. Okay, World War III update. All right, not going to be long at all, but this article caught my attention off of endtimesheadlines.org. And you see the headline, it reads, U.S., Poland, and Germany may soon hold joint maneuvers in preparation for a large-scale conflict. Again, this was put up on their website several days ago now, today's March the 1st, 2023, the hopeful year that all these prophecies come to pass. This was posted on February 26th, so this is 3 days old. All right, and the large-scale conflict that's being spoken of, is the third woe that's coming quickly. We always bring these scriptures out, constantly, every day this one can come out. All right, Revelation chapter 11, verse 14. I'm just going to read it for edification purposes. Even though, those of you who are listening and learning, you already know. But it's the times we're in, all right? We're in a time of war. And the Bible mentions three woes in the book of Revelation. The first two being World War I and World War II. All right, the word woe means destruction. At the end of the day, it means destruction, all right, calamity, all right, misery. So the first woe is World War I. The second woe reference in the book of Revelation is World War II. I mean, tens of millions of people perished, all right, during those conflicts, and millions upon millions are going to perish, and billions even, in this third world's war, which is ultimately the war to end all wars, because after this one, there's going to be no more warfare on the earth, all right? Once the kingdom of heaven is established, there won't be any nations rising up, all right, to do battle, all right, with the Israelites, all right? No more warfare. All right, Revelation chapter 11 and verse 14. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. And this is going to come quickly, all right? Now, we don't reckon time the same way Yahweh Shai reckons time, because he's outside of time, all right? So, you say, well, these things were written down on paper, thousands of years ago. All right, but a day to the Lord, all right, is 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is as a day. So really, if Yahweh Shai was crucified, buried and resurrected, 2,000 years ago, he's only been gone for 2 days. So these things are coming quickly. And how much closer are we now to when John the Revelator was writing these things down? All right, these things are right around the corner. And it's just because you over here in Babylon especially, you can't see it because your minds are clouded with all the bullshit that comes along with, this society we live in, especially here in America, all right? Because the elect lambs are scattered throughout the four corners, but especially over here in America, your minds are distracted and clouded, and focused on bread and circus. You're not thinking. 2/3 of the Lord's people, who are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and you Israelite foreigners, speckled birds, you're not in your right frame of mind spiritually. You're not looking at these things through a spiritual lens, And so you don't see tanks on your street corners right now. You don't see martial law troops, You don't see checkpoints, Martial law hasn't been declared here yet, but these things are coming. They've been fighting in Syria, for almost a decade now. They've been fighting in Syria. You got the U.S. over there. You got the Israeli state, so-called. You got Turkey up in there, Gomer, according to the scriptures, Russia, Gog and Magog, they're all fighting in Syria. Okay? That part of the earth is hot right now, the so-called Middle East. And it's hot over in Ukraine. All right, between Russia and the beast, which the beast is NATO. Okay? And this alliance, okay, is this is a divided alliance, and it's only going to get worse pursuant to Bible prophecy. Okay, this NATO union, again, NATO being the beast. Okay, the 10 horns referenced in Revelation, the 17th chapter, those represent the EU powers, the European Union nations, which there are 24 members, okay, in the EU, and there are 30 nations, okay, that comprise Salakia, the pollen's flying around terrible today. There's 30 nations that comprise, all right, NATO. Okay, and then of course you got the whore that rides the beast, which that would be America. The whole alliance again is fractured. So they're talking about holding joint maneuvers, and they've been doing that. They've been doing naval exercises. As a matter of fact, the U.S. is over in the Ukraine. Okay, alongside the Ukrainians. Okay, and the so-called Polish and Germans. Okay, they're preparing for World War III. But this alliance, this NATO alliance, okay, this beast, all right, system is fractured. And at some point, okay, it's going to be completely broken. All right, because again, you go into Revelation, the 17th chapter, you're going to have the 10 horns, okay, which again, those 10 horns represents the EU powers in the earth today. They're going to end up turning on America. All right. You remember when Donald Trump came into office? What did he start doing immediately? Immediately after he was inaugurated, he started placing economic sanctions against countries like France and Germany, all right, which have historically been America's biggest allies. All right. It's all the same nation. All right. It's all Edom. Okay, these are Edomite powers. DJ Trump comes in, puts sanctions on these countries. All right, which, when you mess with a nation's economy, okay, that's a big deal. Okay, so in recent years, you've had France and Germany, balk, against the things that the U.S. is doing. All right, especially recently with the blowing up of the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, which that was how Russia was feeding gas to Germany. Okay, and now the whole world, which we knew from the beginning that America was behind that. Who else would do it? Joe Biden came out himself and said that was not going to be completed, referring to that project. So all of these things are going to lead up to a separation and these nations coming against America. All right, even burning her with fire, as it says in Revelation 17. So let's get that scripture. We always bring them out. Repetition is a good thing. The elder apostle Gabar always goes into that, how repetition is the father of skill. So it's good to drill these scriptures into your heart or mind, okay, on a daily basis. Revelation chapter 17 and verse 15. And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest where the whore sitteth are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues, right? Because all the nations of the earth dwell over here in America. This is the so-called melting pot. You got all the nations over here, trying to get a piece of that, American pie. All right. Verse 16, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. Again, the 10 horns. All right. Once again, repetition. The 10 horns represents the EU powers. All right. The beast is NATO. All right, and the whore that sits on the beast is America. It says, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh. Now, when it says eat her flesh, that's symbolic for destroying her economy. Okay, ultimately, this economy over here is going to suffer collapse, all right, which they have to do that anyway because they have to get rid of all these paper currencies and usher in the CBDCs, the central bank digital currencies, which will ultimately lead to these nations, chipping their population. And that CHIP, all right, is the MOTB, okay? And those of you in the know what I'm talking about. It says, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. So this whore is going to be burned with fire. Germany, okay, France. All right, those two are the biggest EU powers, all right, on earth right now. When you go into Daniel's the second chapter, when they talk about that fourth beast, all right, which is the Roman Empire, and now we're in the revived Roman Empire, the last leg of that system. Okay, it talks about there being a division. Okay, it being divided. Okay, so it says, and burn her with fire. So America is going to be burned with fire. Those EU powers who were once confederate with America, and I keep harping on Germany and France because historically they've been the biggest allies to America. They're gonna at some point break ties with this bitch. Okay, and right along with Russia and China and Iran and Pakistan and India and Saudi Arabia, which the scriptures talks about the dragons of Arabia coming against America. The dragons of Arabia being Yemen, Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, okay, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, okay, all these nations that have been stockpiling nuclear weaponry, they're all going to come, all right? And ultimately, it's the Lord who's doing these things. Verse 17, for Yahweh hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will. So this is the will of the Lord. All right, all these things, this World War III, the end of this empire, okay, it's the will of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Again, once this empire is taken down and the nations of the earth go down, all right, the kingdom of heaven is going to be established. All right, and that's the kingdom wherein dwelleth righteousness. All right, it says verse 18, verse 17. For Yahweh hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will and to agree and give their kingdoms unto the beast until the words of Yahweh shall be fulfilled. That's right. When the Lord comes back, America is going to be on fire. Okay, ultimately, all the nations are going to be a war in heaven. Okay, that's Yahweh Shai and the angels battling Esau and his angels. Okay, and it's not even going to be a contest. All right, all his chariots, okay, aka airplanes, are going to be destroyed, and the armies of the earth are going to be destroyed in the valley of Yahweh Shaphat, which Yahweh is the Lord's name, and Shaphat means judgment. All right, in the valley of Yahweh Shaphat, the nations of the earth are going to be destroyed, and it's not even going to be close. Matter of fact, the Lord is going to have to put his spirit, all right, on these nations and their armies to go to war with them. Okay, can you imagine being in an F-16 and seeing a chariot come up against you and you have no chance? You have no shot. So, in the flesh, you'd want to run. So the Lord is going to have to put his spirit on these nations to go to war with them. And they're going to be destroyed. All right. Verse 18, and the woman which thou sawest is that great city. Talking about Babylon, because nations can be referred to as cities as well in the Bible, which reigneth over the kings of the earth. Right. Because what nation reigns over the kings of the earth right now? America. Now her influence and her power, all right, and her hegemony is waning. Okay. But America's been that superpower on the earth, for a long while now. All right, but again, like it says in Jeremiah, the 50th chapter, how is the hammer of the whole earth broken and cut in sunder? All right, America is a paper tiger at this point. Okay, ripe for destruction. And 2/3 of you niggas, man, y'all are gonna feel it the hardest, because being the Lord's people, you're gonna feel this judgment the hardest. Okay, because the Lord's coming to smite 2/3 of his own household, the house of Saul. All right, the unbelievers of his people. The Lord talks about the sinners of his people being destroyed. Okay, in the book of Amos. Matter of fact, let me get that. Let me get that real quick. I didn't have that prepared, so I gotta look this up. I believe that's Amos, or it could be Isaiah. Let's see. Yeah, 2/3 of you jakes that don't want to get right, you have to, just like I did a video the other day, you're going to have to feel death by pain. It is Amos. Amos chapter 9 and verse 2. You're going to have to feel death by pain. Now, not all of you are going to swallow nukes. Some of you are going to die during Jacob's trouble. Some of you are going to starve to death. Some of you are going to be forced into hard labor in these concentration camps and killed off there. Some of you are going to die in the race riots that are coming. You don't think race riots are coming to America? You don't think there's going to be a racial conflict when this, kicks off and it gets really bad? What about when there's a fight for resources? What about when there's a fight for food, a fight for gas? Okay, a fight for places to live. You don't think that's going to cause racial conflict? Okay, yeah. I mean, the Lord said that kingdom was going to be against kingdom, and when you look up that word, it's like in Matthew's the 24th chapter where it says nation against nation and kingdom against kingdom, and nation against nation, that's nationality against nationality. So you're going to have big time racial conflict out here, race rioting. Okay, Amos chapter 9 and verse 10, all the sinners of my people, that's part of World War III too. Okay, all the sinners of my people shall die by the sword. Okay, again, it could be you literally die in the nuclear destruction, or you die at the hands of one of these martial law soldiers, okay, or you die by the famine, all right, or you die in a concentration camp, all right. All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, which say, so like the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us, right? Because 2/3 of you don't think that a lot of y'all have adopted Esau's mindset. You don't think America can go down. You don't think America can go down. Every great empire ever raised up in history, in history, has been taken down. Ancient Egypt was raised up. Was not ancient Egypt the most dominant, greatest kingdom back in the ancient world? Yes. Did they go down? Yes, they went down. The Lord destroyed ancient Egypt. And what did he do before he destroyed it? How did he destroy it? He sent plagues. Okay? You read Exodus the 9th chapter, 10th chapter, 11th chapter. He sent 10 plagues on ancient Egypt. Okay, and totally decimated Pharaoh and the Egyptian army and drowned them in the Red Sea. So all these empires are raised up and they're all brought down. Okay, because the Lord is in control of all this. But a lot of you don't think. A lot of you think, this house is going to endure forever. No, America's not going to endure forever. America's going down. All right, World War III's coming. All right, just look at the chaos already erupting in this place. Look at all these toxins and these chemicals, that are being burned and going into the atmosphere and polluting the land and polluting the water. All right, and causing all these illnesses. Those are plagues. All right, it's the same way it was in ancient Egypt. There's going to be a plague of darkness on this place because energy is going to be scarce. Okay, you're going to have grid failures. Did the Lord not send darkness on ancient Egypt? Yes, and we're in spiritual Sodom and Egypt. That's the book of Revelation, the 11th chapter and the 8th verse. So all these things are going to repeat themselves. All right, and it's the prophets. We're the ones standing on our spiritual watchtowers and we're watching the news and we're keeping up with current events, okay? And our job is to filter those through the scriptures and through the prophecies and warn you Israelites and you lambs, okay, to flee the wrath that's coming, because that's all that's left for this place is wrath. And it's not just America. The Lord is going to pour out his wrath on this whole earth. All right, it's only that America is going to be completely destroyed. Going into Isaiah 13 chapter. Let me end it there. I was going to bring out Daniel's the 2nd chapter, okay, where it talks about the kingdom being partly weak and partly strong. Okay, but for the sake of time, I'm not going to get into that. Maybe that'll be another video. Because, yeah, man, this alliance, again, this NATO, EU, America alliance is divided. And NATO and the EU is partly weak and partly strong because you have some nations that are very strong economically, but you have a lot of nations within that alliance that are very weak in terms of their economies, like Greece, for example, like Portugal, like Spain, okay? Then you have some countries within that alliance that are strong militarily, Germany, France, some stronger than others, and you have a lot of so-called weaklings out there. Think about like Estonia, Albania. They don't have strong military presence. So in Daniel's the 2nd chapter, the prophet Daniel, he goes into how that kingdom is divided and it's partly strong and it's partly weak. All right. basically what's bringing about the demise of all of them is debt. Okay, I mean, you look at the debt that America is under. You know, check out the national debt sometime. I know it's just up over $31 trillion, and that doesn't even include all the other debts, all right, that this country has. Anyway, let me go ahead and wrap this up. Isaiah chapter 13. And yeah, I'll start in verse 17. Okay, it says, "Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them." That's talking about Russia. All right, Gog and Magog. That land is the land of Gog and Magog. Right, the Medes is the Russians. Okay, the Bible's not gonna say Russia. Okay, it's who's dwelling in that land today. All right, not only the so-called Russians, but the Persians, which you people call Iranians, they're coming. Okay, again, all the nations of the earth are going to ultimately turn their sights upon America. It says, "Which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it." So you're not going to be able to buy your way out of this. Okay, you're not going to be able to pay these people off. They're coming over here for a spoil. All right, and again, it's all the Lord's will. Verse 18, "Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children." So children are going to die. Slakia. Children are going to die. Old men and women are going to die. Kids. Okay? It don't matter, man. All right? It says in Babylon, verse 19, all right, America, "The glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, shall be as when Yahweh overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah." Right, how did Yahweh overthrow Sodom and Gomorrah? By rain of fire and brimstone, all right, from heaven. The chariots blasted them fucking moes over there, man. Them damn Sodomites, them ancient Egyptians, so-called them Hamites, all right? Verse 20, "It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation, neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. But the wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures." Verse 21, "And the owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there." All right, verse 22, "And the wild beasts of the islands shall cry in their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant palaces." And her time is near to come. Right, America's time is near to come. All right, she had a reign of terror in the earth. All right, the Lord raised her up just like he raised up Pharaoh, all right, which Esau is the modern day Pharaoh. He raised up ancient Egypt just like he raised up, all right, America. All right, but her time is near to come, and it says, "And her days shall not be prolonged." All right, this place, the days of this place ain't being prolonged no more. America's living on borrowed time. You 2/3 are living on borrowed time. You heathens are living on borrowed time. And you elites, all right, you Amalekites, because that's all we focus on. We don't care about Joe Six-Pack, Edomite. He don't know what the fuck's going on anyway. But you elites, you're living on borrowed time. And you can go into your bunkers and you can try to get away. All right, but the Lord's coming back. All right, he's going to turn his men from fishers into hunters. All right, you're going to be drug out of those bunkers. All right, and you're going to be the first fruits of slavery. You're going into slavery when the Lord comes back. And that's in the scriptures. All right, in Ezekiel, the 39th chapter, it talks about you people being men of continual employment. All right, a.k.a. slaves. All right, so again, if you're an Israelite and you haven't done so already, repent. All right, Lord willing, you was edified. All right, I don't want to rock the side. And with that, I want to say shalom.